Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Integrated Self Podcast. I'm your host, Ariana Sidway, holistic health practitioner, author, psychic intuitive, and PhD student. So I welcome you back to the podcast today. Today's episode is going to, again, be another one that is freeing. I've actually been really excited and getting into this energy with this podcast where I'll just be like moving throughout my day and I'll have like a whole concept or a topic, or I'll be online, watching my coaches or watching other people in this space that are healing have their questions and comments. And I'm like, oh, I really want to talk about that. So today I really want to talk about something that I'm sure is on a lot of people's minds. If you guys are on the healing journey, if you are spiritually growing and evolving and you're doing this work on yourself and you're kind of, maybe you're in programs, maybe you have hired your mentors or coaches, maybe you're just out here, on your own path of self-discovery and you're reading books or you're trying new things and kind of just getting to know yourself and getting to know what's the resistance within you, because a lot of people that have come into this place of being on the healing journey of some kind is either due to the fact that they have started to become aware of the fact that they want to actualize a vision or a certain lifestyle or, kind of up level in their life, or they desire new things, or they've, been working towards desires for such a long time and they haven't been able to make progress or transform or feel that way. And so we kind of get on to the healing journey when maybe we realize that it's just whatever we're doing, the work, the progress, the energy that we've been living in isn't going to get us to where we want to go. Or we've just realized that we're not feeling the way we want to feel. We've been through some darker, situations and experiences that have really made an imprint on us. And we know that it's kind of, I'm seeing the word chokehold right now. We're in a chokehold due to the things that we've been through, which is preventing us from being able to move forward, feel the way we want to feel, whatever it may be. And so maybe you've gotten onto this journey because you've seen other people post videos or you have an interest in manifestation. And so by the title of this podcast episode, which is Healing Actually Collapses Time, Healing Collapses Time. And I think that when we start to have this conversation and we realize this, we stop avoiding or bypassing healing or gaslighting ourselves, because we realize that manifestation and our healing go hand in hand. Okay, so I actually made a post about this concept on my Instagram story or on my Instagram feed, and it just started to bring up all these other thoughts that I've had. And I was in an energy in the beginning of my healing journey. And I don't know if I've shared too much about this so far, but something about me is that I came from religion. So when I came into the spiritual community, right, and I say that with quotations because I don't even really know what that means. The spiritual community is just a bunch of people that practice spirituality, but spirituality can look, and in my opinion, should look very unique. And because spirituality is a process of remembering who you really are and releasing the programs and the conditioning that we've absorbed throughout our life that oppose who we are or make us feel like we can't be who we are and we have to be this other identity or this other personality, or operate certain ways or make decisions for other people instead of ourselves, right? So I think that some people get into this work because of the manifestation component, and they think that they can manifest without healing, right? A lot of these people, a trend or a pattern that I've seen, especially just reading comments on other people's videos, just getting to know where people are at and how they've been feeling and what their perspectives currently are. It's very obvious to see these patterns. And the pattern that I've been seeing are people that think, or they don't know the correlation between healing and manifestation, and therefore they think, which I understand, I get how people assume this, that you can manifest things and not have to do the uncomfortable healing. You can manifest your dream life and not address the darkness within you. You can manifest but not sit there in your anxiety and your stress and your pain and your hurt. Okay? And I'm speaking as someone who did a lot of shadow work in a very short amount of time, and I don't recommend doing that. However, by clearing out the darkness and addressing and facing the darkness, addressing and facing the resistance, you take your power back. right? When you sit there and say, oh, I want all these things, but I don't want to do the work, you're basically turning your back on your own pain, your own inner child, your own trauma, because you're not ready to look at it or you fear it, right? So this is how we create more darkness in our lives. This is how we start to manifest more darkness or more unpreferred manifestations, right? So as I said in my last podcast episode, all about the law of assumption, you manifest who you are, who you're being. You manifest the energy that you're operating from. Okay, so you don't manifest what you desire. You manifest energy that you are operating in, right? Because you have an electromagnetic field of energy around you created by the state of your mind and the state of your body or your nervous system and your emotions. So it's really about mastering this relationship between the mind and the heart so that your energetic field is coherent, right? Whereas if you can think about a situation where I've been through this as well, and many times, because I feel like in order to master the coherence between the mind and the heart, you have to be in situations where they're opposing each other in order to be able to understand yourself and see the different parts of you speaking and where the imbalance is or what the struggle is, what the resistance is or the block, right? So like I've had an example or a situation in my life where my mind is telling me things, but my heart is telling me something else, right? And this is like a lot of our spiritual awakenings. And I actually wrote about it. I wrote about my first spiritual awakening in this book. It was terrifying. I made the biggest life change, the biggest life decision I've ever made amidst my first spiritual awakening. And I wrote about it in this book. I changed my life in one decision and I was terrified to do that. But it was because I heard my heart. I heard my spirit. I was aware that there was another aspect of me speaking up now, and it was my spirit. Whereas my whole life I was functioning out of my mind and my logic and my ego. So what happens is you could have a desire that's genuinely coming from your soul. Like you could have a soul desire, but your mind, if you haven't healed the ego or done any mindset work or healed any trauma, or you're still living in survival mode, or you still require validation from people outside you, or you are codependent, or you're a people pleaser, your mind is going to come up immediately. The second you start to act on or decide to follow that soul's desire, your ego and your mind will start to chime in with all of the resistance, all the reasons why you can't do that, all the reasons why you're not enough, literally all your shadows screaming at you, opposing the light, opposing the soul, opposing the soul's purpose and what the soul desires. So it's really about mastering this relationship between the mind and the heart so that your electromagnetic field now, the broadcast, the energetic broadcast you're sending out into the universe is coherent. It's a strong signal. It's convicted in what it knows and what it wants, right? Because if you think about it, in the universe or in the quantum field, you don't have a face. Like you don't show up as who you are with your whole story and all your baggage. All that is representing you in the quantum field is just an energy. So what is your energy saying about you, right? It's really important to see this way. And so what I feel is like people, I've seen this trend where people get into this work because they want to manifest the material things. They want to expand their reality. And that's fine. I'm not going to sit here to tell you to tone down your desires. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you can't have those things or you don't have that power, because I know you do. I know I do. And I know that you're no different than me, right? Just because I'm a coach and I do this doesn't mean that you can't. If you can, if I can, you can. If you can, I can. Okay? We are all one. So when you think about it like this, a lot of people get into this work because they want the things, they want the lifestyle, they want the security, they want the money, they want to up level. They see themselves in a completely different reality than the one they're living. Now that's the signal. That's your higher self showing you through ideas, daydreams, whatever it may be that you're experiencing these visions of yourself in that desired reality. That's your higher self showing you, hey, this is possible. Okay, so listen and honor that that's what's coming up through you. And that it's possible. And the reason why you keep reliving the same daydreams is because you can have that life. It's literally like the spiritual realm, the quantum field, your higher self, your spirit guides, whatever your words are saying, Yes, you can have this, you can be this, you already are this. Now, in order to become that or to live that life, you have to align your energy to be able to match the energy of what you're asking for, right? You have to become the person that can sustain that, because I don't know about you guys, I've had big desires that I've been working towards for years. That's how big they are. I've been preparing myself. I've had to become. Source Spirit has put me through these situations for me to practice and learn how to become the person that can hold all those things, right? In the past, I was very easily offended. I was very easily irritable. I would freak out if something went wrong. That version of me is not going to be able to hold the manifestations. If God, the source, the universe, gave me what I asked for back then, I would have freaking sabotaged it. I wouldn't have felt worthy of maintaining it, so I would have found some way subconsciously to get rid of it. But my whole point with this episode is saying that healing actually collapses time. So I want to read to you a couple things that I wrote in that post, because this kind of puts it all together and helps you realize, because the thing is, this is the perception that people have and hold, but it's not true. So when you realize that what you've been operating from isn't true, it makes it easier for you to then be able to make more progress, because I feel like this perception keeps people stuck, which is they realize that they can't manifest anything they actually prefer, right? Because we are always manifesting. Even people that don't know anything about manifestation are constantly manifesting. Manifestation is just the receiving of your energy that you operate in. So everyone's always manifesting. Now, when it comes to you consciously manifesting things that you actually prefer, people get to this place where they can't manifest those things consciously that they prefer, which is telling them that there's something within them that's actively blocking that. Because if you were genuinely meant to be where you think you should be, you would be there. But there's a reason why you're not. There's a reason why you don't have that thing right now. So people realize, oh, I actually can't do this. This is actually really challenging. And that's because what they're meant to be doing isn't manifesting. You're not supposed to jump into this work and immediately try to manifest. You're meant to jump into this work to learn who you are, learn the trauma and the resistance and the hurt or the limiting beliefs or the perspectives, the behaviors that you operate from that are creating the fact that you're manifesting things that you don't prefer, right? So my point with this whole episode is that healing actually collapses time, because people perceive and think that I don't want to heal. I just want to do. I just want to attract. I just want to have the life right now. People want instant gratification. People have short attention spans. They don't want to commit to doing the work. They just want the result. They just want the life. But they don't realize that they have to go through the darkness in order to retrieve that light. I always used to live in this love and light mentality, but this journey has also had to put me through situations where I realized that not everything is love and light. That's not this world. This world is darkness and light. And once you learn that darkness exists and you stop avoiding it and fearing it and bypassing it and gaslighting yourself that you don't have darkness within you, that's when you actually start to collapse time, because you're acknowledging what's actually there. You're removing the illusion that you're creating for yourself, which is telling you, no, I can just avoid this. There's a balance where I don't have to do the uncomfortable work, but I can still have the life I want. There's going to be a time or a place in your journey where you can't, where you're going to stay where you are, because things are coming up for you to witness and experience and love and heal. But your ego, your mind just wants the things or wants the life that you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. But in reality, the reason why all those things are coming up for you right now is because the universe is showing you this is why you're not able to make progress, because this is right here, because you don't feel worthy, because you don't feel like you'll ever have that, because you don't trust yourself, right? So when you find this balance in this journey of, hey, I'm not meant to be constantly healing myself, but I'm meant to pay attention to things that come up for me to heal, because they come up when they're meant to be healed. They're triggered to the surface. They come up to the surface when they're meant to in divine timing, so that we can sit with that part of ourselves and love it, but choose to move forward without that thing controlling us and how we operate in our lives. So I wrote, people skip healing and jump right into manifestation without realizing the two go hand in hand. The very thing you're avoiding, which is healing your actual core wounds, is the very thing that will bring you into your desired reality. This is like the misconnect. It's like two puzzle pieces, but they're not connecting to each other. So like, this is the reason, this is the root cause. People want instant gratification, and they think that by healing and going within is wasting time. But in my opinion, I don't believe that. It's the opposite. It's the opposite, where by going within and addressing what's there, by addressing the root cause of what's going on within you that's blocking you, you actually collapse time. Because once it's addressed and healed and loved, that wound, you take your power back. Whereas when you avoid it and you pretend you don't feel that way and you gaslight yourself, you're allowing that wound to basically control how you operate. It still holds power over you. Whereas when we can take our power back from the darkness and look at it and say, I love you, right? Like, this can be viewed as controversial, but I've learned so much about the darkness, and it's made me such a stronger person spiritually, because I've learned to love the darkness, right? So now it's like, I don't fear negative energies. I don't fear the devil. I don't fear any of that, because I know that I am God and I am the devil. I am darkness and I am light. So the more that you fear your own darkness, the more you're giving it power over you. And it's only when we heal and we take our power back from the darkness and we say, hey, I love you. I understand you went through that trauma and that freaking sucked and that was awful. And that it taught you to think of yourself a certain way. And you've been living in this energy for years. But when you sit there and you sit there with all these feelings and you realize these things about yourself, you realize all the ways that you've been programmed by your trauma or by your hurt and pain to operate certain ways, right? Like my bullying, I was bullied a lot as a young girl, and even in high school. Like, being bullied taught me and made me feel like I can't be who I am. So for years, I molded myself. I watered myself down. I told myself, no, that's too weird, because people told me I'm too weird. So I listened to that and I changed who I am to make everyone else happy with me, but that's not who I am. And if I continue to stay and live in that energy, I'm not going to be able to attract anything that really resonates with me, because I'm not being me. I'm not being authentic. I'm trying to water myself down because I don't believe that I'm worthy or enough or lovable as I am, right? So, in my opinion, healing collapses time. I did like on and off. I wouldn't say I did shadow work for 2 years, but there was a 2-year period, 2021 to 2022, at the end of 2022, where I addressed so much within me. I sat in so much darkness, and it wasn't every day. It wasn't all the time, but it was like I really went into the darkness and like carved everything out. And in that time, I didn't expand my reality. I didn't manifest that much. In fact, honestly, a lot left, a lot crumbled around me. But that's because I'm addressing the darkness within, and everything that was already around me was manifested from that energy. So when I crumbled the darkness and I dismantled that shit and I integrated it and I loved it and I took my power back from my darkness, everything that came from that darkness left my life. But people that perceive, oh, things are leaving, things are crumbling, this is bad, I'm doing this wrong. No, God, source, spirit, the universe is just realigning you with the new reality, because now you're choosing to operate differently. Now you're not operating in that energy anymore. So everything you attracted from that previous state of being no longer resonates with you. It no longer aligns with you. While expanding your physical reality is so fun, to me, like, it helps to look at it as the byproduct of who you're being. I want to be transparent that healing is required. In order to change your reality, you have to change your energy. We change our energetic state by releasing energies and beliefs that do not align to where we want to go. So you collapse time by healing the resistance that's within you. And once that resistance is healed and integrated, and you're now consciously driving the car of your life and consciously making your own decisions and consciously taking action because you feel guided to, You're now living in flow. You're no longer fawning or submitting to your shadow. You're no longer listening to the shadow and making decisions based off of the darkness within you. You've healed that. It's within you. Like, we're not pretending we never went through trauma and to forget it, but we're taking our power back. We're energetically allowing that energy to leave our field, which allows that electromagnetic field to now vibrate at a higher frequency because we chose to release the lower vibrational energies that we've been holding on to. So like I said before, in the quantum field, you don't have a face, a name, or a story. You have an energy that speaks for you, the energy that you're in right now. So the energy that you have been operating from manifested your current life, right? So it might be triggering to hear this, but, and it was for me at one point in my journey, but now it's like, it's an honest thing, right? Like, self-love isn't just saying, oh yeah, I'm perfect all the time, right? That's like delusion, and that's a level of psychosis. Self-love is being honest with ourselves, being able to admit, hey, you can grow over there, or hey, you've been ignoring this over here. It might be triggering to hear this, but your current reality is the way it is because it was manifested by the energy you have been in the past. When we choose to heal and we commit to this healing and we actually do it in a way where we're actually healing, right? We're not just sitting there saying like, I love me, I love me, I love me. Like, we're getting to the root cause. We're practicing new perspectives. We're reprogramming our mind. We're regulating our nervous system to be able to hold more love, hold more money, hold more discipline and more action, right? Or whatever it may be. We are able to create from a different frequency, which brings different things. I know my first mentor told me, like, well, things are the way they are because of you. You know what I mean? And this doesn't mean that we have to take the responsibility for what has happened to us that's out of our control. No, we're not blaming ourselves for the actions of others. But what we can do in this situation to take our power back from what has happened to us is by recognizing that while I couldn't control that this happened to me, it is my responsibility to heal from this experience because I deserve to live a life where this isn't pulling me down, that I want to take my power back from this situation so that I can live how I want to live. And I don't have to define myself and make decisions based off of the fact that this happened to me or that this occurred or I've been through X, Y, or Z. So like I said before, in the quantum field, you don't have a face, a name, or a story. You just have a current energy, a present energy that speaks for you. So the universe isn't sitting there looking at you saying, oh, we're going to bless this person over this person because this person's been through more, right? No, the universe responds to the energy that you put out and show them to the universe that comes from the present moment. So two people could have had very dark childhoods or been through very similar traumas. One person chooses to heal and one person doesn't. So the energy that the universe sees from the person that chooses to heal is going to be different because it's from the present moment, which is really all that exists. Their energy is going to scream out something different than the person's energy that didn't heal. We've all seen plenty of examples and stories and podcasts or interviews of people that have gone from nothing or very little or been through such darkness and have been able to create a beautiful life for themselves. And that's because they chose not to define themselves based off of what they've been through. They chose and knew that they could live a life, they could free themselves from the mental and emotional way of being that thing or trauma had put them in. So your energy in the quantum field is your present energy. The energy that you have been in manifested your current life. If you want to go bigger and better, we have to address what we're operating from within, right? So it's just funny how people say, oh, I want to manifest my ex, but they don't want to do any work on themselves. They want this high caliber man or woman as a romantic partner, and they want to attract that person, but they don't want to work on themselves, right? Or they're online saying that all men suck. You're saying that what you want is a high caliber man, but yet you're sitting there choosing to shit on all men online. Do you think that the man that you envision in your head is going to see that video of you saying all men suck and think that that's amazing, or think that, wow, this really makes me want to be with that person? You know what I mean? So in order to align ourselves into the energy that we want to experience, we have to be that energy ourselves. So it's really learning how to take your power back from all the situations and illusions and perceptions and stories that your mind is telling you that aren't real. And I really just believe that if people understood this, they'd be more motivated to heal. They'd be able to honor themselves in deeper ways, because now when you switch this perspective from, I don't want to heal because I just want to manifest, to, oh, I know that the key to manifestation is healing myself. Now what happens is you look at yourself as the focus. Now you're focused on who you're being, how you're feeling, what's coming up within you. Now your awareness is on yourself and going within, than the perspective of someone that says, I don't want to heal, I just want to manifest. That person is looking at, their awareness is on everything outside themselves. They're looking for the manifestation. They're waiting. They are looking for all the confirmation instead of realizing that they are the confirmation. When they start to feel that way before that physical manifestation has come in, that's how you know it's coming in. But the only way that you're going to get there is if you start with you. If you learn how to feel that way on a consistent basis and learn how to integrate a new frequency in and pair that with a mind that is on board with what you're doing or what you want or what you want to feel more of, you create your reality through the energy you live in, the thoughts you think, the energy you're living from. So if you don't like the current way that your reality looks right now, that there's something within yourself that's creating that. And the reason why this work isn't so easy and black and white is because it could be something that's unconscious or subconscious. It could be something that you're subconsciously blocking something out because you don't want to look at it. But in reality, that's the very thing that's creating your manifestation to be something you don't want it to be. Like, for so long, I would tell myself, no, I believe I'm worthy. I believe I'm worthy. But then the universe would put me in situations where I would have to show up as that new self, and I'd feel terrified. And I'd be like, oh, I can't believe this. I can't believe someone wants me to speak on this show or whatever it may be. And that's exactly what the universe is doing. It's showing me, hey, you don't think you're worthy. You don't think you are that talented or that good at what you do or whatever it may be. So the universe will put you in situations that will bring these feelings up within you. But if you're not aware or you're focusing so much on the manifestation itself, you'll feel what's coming up for you to look at, and you're like, no. Whereas when you are conscious and you're self-aware and you understand that your healing is the key to manifestation, you'll feel something come up like anxiety or anger or frustration, and you'll be able to pay attention to it in the present moment as it's presenting itself. Heal it, release it, do whatever you need to do, right? Which is the work that I coach on and help people do, help them navigate this work. And once that thing is once you take your power back from it, it's not as strong. It doesn't pull you in another direction. It's not controlling you in the decisions you make. Now you've taken your power back and you don't feel that way anymore about yourself. So it's so interesting to me. And at the end of the day, it's probably just because a lot of people get a lot of this information about healing and manifestation from online. And obviously, you're not going to learn how to truly do the work and how to master yourself. Like, you're not going to learn self-mastery or alchemization just from watching like a 1-minute reel. It takes real life experience. It takes you to be constantly self-aware and understand energy as well. So I really just wanted to touch on this today and tell you guys that if this is something you desire, if this is something that you're like, yes, I understand this, or I've been there, or I am in this mindset right now, and this helped clarify a lot for me, I'm launching a masterclass that's coming out next Saturday. It's November 30th, and it's free. So we're going to be talking all about these things. We're going to be talking about who you need to become. We're going to be talking about the mind, the heart, the ego, the soul, following the guidance, a lot of reasons why you're stuck and why you haven't been able to transform and experience what you've been wanting to experience, and the real truths, like what's really required. Because I don't know if I've said this before in this episode, but I am the first to tell you guys that you are your own healers, that I don't even label myself as a healer because I awaken your inner healer. Like, I am the first to say my clients heal themselves. If you come into my world, you heal you, and I just get to help you do that because I truly believe like you're no different than me. So I treat you like that. I treat you as, I hold you to a higher standard. I treat you as if you're no different than me. If I can do it, you can do it. And so I just truly believe that everyone has this ability, and I truly believe everyone can do this. However, that doesn't mean that this is easy and that everyone stays on this journey. Some people, depending on who you are, people either don't want to commit to the healing, or they realize that healing's required for manifestation, and so they don't want to put in the work. So then they, they're the type of people that would comment and say manifestation doesn't work. Well, that's just because you're not willing to be honest and look at yourself and do the actual work in order to get what you want, right? Like God, source, the universe, I don't care whatever religious text you read, never promised everybody to have a perfect, blissful life. Like that's not why we're here. We're here to remember who we are, use that power to create impact and help ourselves and the world become a better place. In order to do those things, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to admit where you can grow. You have to be honest about what you've been through and how it's impacted you, and be honest about where you see yourself headed and what's required of you in order to get there. Some people don't like this type of work, and that is totally fine. There are plenty of different kinds of therapies to use. This, though, using spirituality and holistic health and mindset healing and regulation and all of these things, energy, this is really energy healing, to me is, and again, this is a biased opinion because I do this work and it's helped me, but to me, this is the most empowering type of healing you can do because you're in the driver's seat. Yes, I'm telling you what to do, telling you, how to start to perceive situations differently, but at the end of the day, you come out on the other side as if you don't recognize yourself. Like, I have so much patience now in my life that I never had. Like, I look at things as if the glass is half full, then the glass is half empty. Like my mind has become authentically mine instead of the voices in my head that used to talk for me, but they were like my parents' voices, my bullies' voices, my trauma's voices. This work is so rewarding because you're invested in it, you're doing it. I'm holding your hand, but it's so empowering because like you're doing it. Feel the shifts, like the mini shifts taking place within you. And it's so beautiful because you get to this place where it's almost like nothing in your reality might have changed yet, but you feel so different. And it's almost like you're just waiting for the external reality to catch up with who you now are. So if you take anything away from this episode, this is empowering when you realize that healing is actually the key to your manifestation ability, and that if you heal and you be honest and you address and you witness and experience everything that's within you, and you no longer fear yourself, you no longer fear your emotions, you no longer fear, your life can explode. You can shift so much. You can become the person that you've seen in your head. But you're never going to get there if you choose to avoid all of that, because what you're doing is you're doing the opposite of harmony and wholeness. You're creating division. You're saying, I know that's what exists within me. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want to revisit that. I don't want to experience that, right? Ever again. And there might be points where obviously I would hope you would understand that if you just went through a massive trauma, I'm not telling you to revisit that and go dive headfirst into it a week later. This is work for when you're ready, when you're aware that you're holding on to energies, mindsets, limiting beliefs that are creating blocks or procrastination or self-sabotage or feeling unworthy or whatever it may be, insecurity, fear of any kind. That's what's within you that's creating that feeling. And so what we can do is do the work internally, because as I said in the beginning of this episode, in order to change your external, you have to shift your internal first. Again, that's the opposite of what we've been taught. We've been taught, I'll feel rich when the money is in my account. That's the opposite. Energetically, this work works because you feel rich now. You feel rich first. That's what attracts money to you, because money as an energy sees the person that loves money, that's grateful for money, that wants to take care of money, that loves money, that desires it and will take care of it, and money wants to flow to you. Money doesn't care if you have $30 to your name. It's an energy. So when you start to view everything as energies that are either repelling each other or attracting each other, this work, like you start to master this work, you start to master yourself, you start to consciously be able to create and to make decisions and live a way that feels so good to you, despite anything you've been through. So I'm so passionate about this. I'm so freaking ready for this masterclass. I have so much to say. I'm excited to activate you, to inspire you, but also help you understand the very things that are kind of not connecting together, that's creating you to stay stagnant or keep repeating the same cycles and lessons. So if you guys are interested in purchasing my book, this is her. I plan on making more episodes regarding the model. We have in this book not just life experience and trauma talk and all of these things, but we talk about, and we have created a model for you guys to evaluate where you're at along your spiritual journey and healing and personal development. So a lot of talk about the ego and the soul in this book. And a lot of different traumas that I've been through, like people pleasing, playing small, hypervigilance, feeling rejected, being rejected. There's a lot of things in here that are very important. We talk about consciousness, we talk about emotions, your subconscious mind. So you guys can, if you go on TikTok Shop, this book is for sale on TikTok Shop. If you just type in the integrated self, you'll see it on there. Or you can go to my link and below this video or in the description if you're watching the audio version of this, or if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, and the link to purchase will be there as well. It's a little bit cheaper on TikTok Shop though, for the time being. And yeah, stay tuned, you guys. I'm going to be posting readings on YouTube as well. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram, and I cannot wait. So next Saturday, there should be another podcast episode before the new masterclass gets released, but next Saturday, November 30th, my Reclaim Your Power Masterclass is going to be available, and you can get that immediately, instant access to it. Again, it's completely free. You'll just come over to my link and you'll be able to see it, and like just type in your name and email and it'll be emailed right to you and you'll be able to watch it. Instant access. So I'm very, very excited for that. And I've also been guided to, if you guys like readings, I've been really guided to, as my readings are set up right now, it's like you guys send me your questions and then I'll record the reading and send it to you. But what I've been really guided to do instead is like meet with you at a specific time and like be on Zoom. And have a conversation. So I'm going to offer 30-minute and 60-minute readings, and I'm going to call them energy readings. But basically what we're going to do is just meet for an hour or 30 minutes, whatever it may be, whichever option you choose. And we're going to get to know each other, what's going on in your reality, what's going on with you. And then you're going to be able to ask a couple of questions depending on how much time we have. And I'll pull cards and I'll be able to tap into your energy. So the first one, 30 minutes, I'm going to say 3 questions. We'll probably have time for about 3 questions you can ask. And then same thing with the 60-minute, but it'll be 5 questions, and I'm going to read your current energy and we're going to have a conversation. So it's going to be like coaching and like cards and energy reading in one. And that will help us, it'll help me coach you on whatever you're going through at the time, but we'll also bring in that universal, that divine guidance as well for source to speak, for your angels, your spirit guides to speak as well through me, so that we can get more of a full picture. So if any of that interests you, you can go ahead into the link in my description below, and all of that will be there. And again, my masterclass is going to come out on 11:30, and that's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So I hope you guys have a great day. I hope that you learned a lot from this episode, and let me know, comment below if you like this episode or if you have any other topics you want me to speak on. So if you have a question, I can answer it in another episode, or if you have a specific topic like money or relationships or intuition, like whatever it may be, please comment below, because I would love to cater more to you guys and what you guys want to know more about. So I will see you guys next week, and I hope you have a great week.